97% of environmental scientists agree on anthropogenic climate change. 77% of American adults, according to an Ipsos study, believe that teaching climate change in K-12 education is important, and that jumps to 84% if they have children in K-12. And yet, the Michigan social studies standards that were officiated in 2019 were highly contested, and they included some hot button issues, including climate change. Climate change was mentioned 6 times in those standards. My name is Mori, and this article is about climate change in education. It's important to tell this story now because high school teachers in social studies are gearing up to teach that in the state of Michigan, gearing up to teach climate change. I've been able to interview social studies teachers here in Ann Arbor who've been working on that. Also, President Cassandra Ulbrich of the Board of Education here in Michigan says that it's about 4 to 5 years before revisions take place for the core standards, and the science standards, which mention climate change less than the social studies standards, were established in 2015. So it's been about 4 to 5 years. And if it becomes adopted across curriculums, then it hits that sweet spot that professors that I talk to advocate for. They want climate change to be taught in an interdisciplinary manner. But climate change in education has become partisan, and I've talked to Cole Beck, who is a former state senator, who's very much against teaching climate change in K through 12. It's become right-wing versus left-wing, liberals versus conservatives. But ultimately, it's going to be the students who bear the consequences of whether they are taught climate change in K through 12 or not. Many of those whom I've interviewed say that students need to be taught as early as possible. But that just can't be the case if it's not standardized. And they're saying that students need to be prepared to go into the world that they're going to inherit, understanding how climate change will affect their future. And that would need to happen as soon as possible, because those who are in K through 12 now, in a couple of decades, are of course going to be the decision makers and the shakers of this world. So I think that this ideally would be an e-story, because I'd love to have an interactive map of the United States where if you hover over a state with your mouse, you see a little box that has information about a state's education standards regarding climate change. But ultimately, this could also work in print. I think you'll really enjoy this story.